When it comes to EVE Online, every player wants to know the most effective tactic available. You want to know the meta. The meta controls everything. It determines what will and will not happen. Knowing the meta will alter your views, make you question your reality. It might even make you laugh. And now, you're part of it. You're watching the Meta Show.
Audio fucked up. Restart that in a second. There we go. Keith should be able to be heard now. My OBS is done.
Good afternoon. Yeah, Dave, we always count on some technical difficulties, right? So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our War edition of the Meta Show. So obviously we've been at war for those of us in the Imperium. And of course, we can't have the Meta Show and not go through what is going on with the war right now. So as the this episode is War by the Numbers, we're going to have a segment called a data dump with our host, Dave Archer. And Dave's going to walk us through some of the numbers and what we've seen from a very unbiased standpoint and see, hey, who's winning this war from a numbers standpoint?
Mm-hmm.
Who's actually putting some work in and that kind of thing. One of the other things, everybody, I'd like to get our audience and our viewers involved here and share with us, myself and Dave, and you can share it in this chat. You can send us a Discord message, whatever it may be. We want to hear some stories from you, our viewers. What is going on? What are you seeing? What are you seeing out there in the war? And if you're not subbed, that kind of thing, you're going to get an ad break. So just want to see that, hear your story, hear what's going on. What do you think? Like, hey, I had this crazy thing happen. I took out this Barbaroga because, by the way, the first Barbaroga just died here, I think, the other day. That kind of thing with the new Legion patch that just came out. So maybe there's some fun stories. Definitely want to hear that. When we get back from this ad break, though, Dave is going to go in. For those of you viewers who are here, Dave's going to kick us off with the War by the Numbers here.
Yeah. First of all, though, we can start with some. What has brave Sir Gobbins done since the start of the war? Well, for those that are subbed, he forward deployed Horde to the other side of the regional gate in Ethereum Reach and has somewhat looked like they're going to defend Innsmother, but we all know Horde. They're probably going to, it's not actually on the screen, but they're going to run away to the floodplains. It says up here on our thing. Adding on from that, they have also left one of their pet alliances, Phoenix Cartel, out to dry in Scalding Pass. All their shit is gone. And he has moved Pancrab down to the south so his members can still crab away while they are sitting in their Keepstar doing not much at all. Adding to that, there's some shenanigans from the FCs, such as kicking all the small stuff from fleets right before they bridge. That's not very fair.
Dave, you mentioned FCs though. Hasn't Villy's made a return? Hasn't he?
He has. Yes. Hold your beer. We're gonna go over this now. We're gonna do this now.
We've got some hot takes here. Villy has made a return.
Hold your beer, folks.
Shooting his big bad bully. The goons chat. We're getting shot at by Villy again. We've got some good Villy hot takes here.
Yeah. First of all, he seems to not have good luck with systems that are letters and then the number 2. He really bad luck with these. He doesn't seem to get how engagement works if there's a 2 in the name. So, what happens is we send a tactical commander, Lord Mike. Some of you may know him. or the man JR, this dude, out to ref a fort in Vultures. Ignore the Bargus, that comes later. We'll tell the story about that in a minute, and my Ravens. Down here in Vultures, brave Sir Villy turns up in a Vulture fleet. Bear in mind, this is direct range of our staging system. So, as you can guess, me, Zintage, and all the others rock up, and I form a Raven fleet and bridge him within about 5 minutes of him taking the engagement from pinging to going in. And Villy just still decides to take the fight, which good on him. Very foolish. He was initially winning the fight, I will add, until he found out that missiles do in fact hurt a lot, and started running away. The issue with him running away is, first of all, Sigma's Bargus that came in right as my Raven fleet did, and Bargus, Sapides has big cojones, and our Ravens, first of all, shoot a lot further than they can. And there was also this inconvenient thing of a interdictor fleet. Who'd have thought it? What a shame. So if we look at the summary here, folks. On the Imperium side, we lost 5 Raven navies. Oh no, anyway. 1 Sleipnir. Oh no, anyway. 30 Vultures. Bear in mind, Vultures were the main DPS of 2 of the fleets. They lost 107 Vultures. Now, the Vultures were engaged at 0 on each other. They were shooting point blank. They also lost 63 Ferox Navy issues to our... because they brought in a reinforcement fleet of FNIs, which... Okay, it's Bob Brain. Our Vulture fleets have FNIs with them, so we lost some of them. Now, the whopping thing is we lost 78 Flycatchers because we just kept throwing them at them to stop them from leaving. That's 101 dictors. 101 dictors.
If you lose that many dictors anyway, first of all, if you haven't heard, interdictors are ammo.
They are ammo, yes.
They're just expensive ammo. And if you're shooting dictors, it means you're probably trying to run away.
Exactly. Brave Sir Villy ran away. They also lost 2 billion ISK in capsules. Hostiles did.
Yep.
But yeah, so if we look at the timeline, really, you see, like, basically, Villy was shooting all of the Ferox Navy issues in the Vulture fleet, while our Vulture fleet was shooting his Logi. And then his Vultures. But Villy was still shooting the Ferox Navy issues. Why, you may ask? Not a fucking clue. I'd shoot Vultures, wouldn't you, Keith? Like,
well, maybe. It depends. You start running out of DPS, you can't break the Vultures, you're going to try the VNIs, right?
Yeah, but this is at the start of the engagement. He had a full fleet.
Try to get that damage off the field would be my guess. But if you're able to, I would try the Vulture first. If I can break through a Vulture,
I
would definitely kill Vulture.
I mean, if you've got a full fleet, you could break a Vulture. Easy. Yeah. But Brave Sir Villy started running away. And if we go down more, it's still looking okay for him. And then suddenly, it's really not. Oh, look, there's a dead Raven. He starts losing a lot of Vultures. And he runs away. But there's the biggest BR I've seen for this war so far. That was over the X2 fort, which is now dead and replaced, folks, today by a Goon Keepstar. This one here.
Yeah, all the Keepstars.
Right here. This guy.
One of these.
One of these.
Exactly. Dave, do you want to take us through, and Sandri, I see that you say shoot the FNIs first. I mean, my logic from my FC days, like if I have a T2 resist ship on field and I've got the faction version, let's think back to Sleipnirs and HFIs. I'm probably going to try to burn through the HFIs
as
quick as I can.
when
know,
you're
that
starting
kinda
to
thing.
lose the Isket war, start shooting the expensive stuff that you can kill.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of this, though, Dave,
Oh
do
yes,
you want to take us through the numbers?
but wait,
Let's look at
there's
this.
more. So on the numbers, guys. First of all, we've got structures killed. Now this is just from the start of the war. This is from last Saturday. Before any Pam Fam fellows in the chat go, ha ha, we've killed much more in Dow, hurdy diddy diddy dee. This is from last Saturday, whilst Goons and Sigma and Co. have been engaged in Scalding Pass and Innsmother. So on this graph, we have the Imperium losses. This is everybody, Brave, Sigma, Goons, Sons of Bane, everyone. And we have PamFam losses, which involves pretty much all of PamFam that have lost a structure, because not all of them have. So this top graph, as you can see, is telling us total values. PamFam's total loss is 185,670,000,000 so far. Oh, the fort is still there, just in Hull. You see, I've been busy. Like, I finished work at 5 a.m. yesterday, so I have no idea what happened.
No, it's a ruse, Dave. It's not there.
Is it not? I don't know. I haven't been there.
I'm kidding. No,
as Keith could tell you, I was trying to jump into X too early, and my computer crashed 5 times because I was trying to jump 17 accounts from one computer. And Imperium have lost 83,400,000,000. So that is roughly 102 billion and some change ISK difference there. And as you can see from the bottom graph, we've got the what was lost. I believe one keep tar was lost as well. Keith?
yeah, just a keep tar.
Just the keep tar.
Or an imaginary keep tar on the Imperium side.
Never heard of a keep tar. Should have got Remaker to put that on here. That would have been funny. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think that was an abandoned fort, and generally when Imperium structures go abandoned, we just shoot them. The price on the imaginary keep tar is Headliner's ego. I believe. So
yeah, no.
The breakdown.
And you know, Dave.
Oh, go on.
We talked about like the systems lost here, and somebody's mentioned in the chat like, well, how much IS does 22 systems count for?
It depends on the system, doesn't it?
There's a good way. Yeah, it really does. And what was Horde using these systems for, Dave? Was it Horde that owned these? Was this Phoenix?
These are all scolded. These are all. I have that information shortly. The systems were all in Scalding Pass, so really it was literally a floodplain that they originally intended on moving renters into.
Yep.
But they never did in the end, because suddenly having renters in jump range of the Imperium is a dumb idea. Who'd have thought that?
Yeah.
So
I can't see what would go wrong there, man.
We have a breakdown of structures lost. So the first thing you'll notice is not many skyhooks. The reason for that is because you no longer need to kill them. You can just flip them. So theoretically, the amount of skyhooks they've lost, take the amount of systems that they've lost, and I don't know, times that by like 10, 15, depending on the amount of planets. Who knows? In each system. That would be the amount of skyhooks they've lost. But the amount that have been blown up is 17 to 2. The big ones is like Fortizars. No Imperium Alliance, including Brave, in the last week has lost a Fortizar. And the reason why I say including Brave is while the rest of the Imperium are distracted over yonder, they are fending for themselves quite well.
Yep.
So we lost 2 Asbaus. I actually don't have the kill mess for that, so I don't know where they are to their 1. But as you can see, it's all looking up for the Imperium, I would say.
It is. Yeah, it's quite a big when you look at just the ISK alone, quite a big swing as far as in favor of PanFam, with PanFam at 183 bill or 85 bill and the Imperium at 83 bill. I mean, so there's some decent losses on the Imperium side as far as ISK is concerned, but I think that's to be expected when Brave is having to fend, for itself against. I'm just going to say the rest of Horde.
By the way, that's the amount lost.
They don't want to fight us.
So they've lost 180 bill. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, I mean, I think the Imperium only losing 83 bill, and I would venture to say maybe a significant amount of that is from our friends Brave over in Delve.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think it's like, what are we doing? When are we gonna see Horde, Dave, in your opinion, show up? They drew the line in the sand, right? Is that a
Yeah.
GTAC Q?
Yeah. Which, oh no, anyway, there's an entire region full of stuff that we could just boom, bitch. Leaving people hung out to dry again. And even then, I don't think Horde have what it takes all the FCs now to defend themselves. I mean, the Imperium has such a deep bench of FCs. In Goons alone, we have a very deep bench. And then you got people like Sapides, who is just a nutter. That man would drive his entire super fleet through that gate just to start that fight. Like, he crazy. If you don't believe me, ask him. He probably would. So I don't know if a line in the sand for Horde really works, because I can name two Horde FCs off the top of my head that are worth a grain of salt. You know, like Devron and Muskie. The rest don't really FC anymore. Goons have quite a few cap FCs now. Or people that can.
What's the famous Horde FC that runs around and they used to run around in the retrees out in near UALX? Your favorite person?
Oh. Yeah, they have those two, but I wouldn't I said FC's worth a grain of salt. Yeah. I wouldn't exactly.
I haven't seen John Hartley, Starscream. I have not seen John Hartley. I don't know if he's back or not. And good evening, Chaos. Thanks for joining us today on the Meta Show. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're just walking through the numbers right now of what is PanFam loss versus the Imperium in the first week of the war. And we have been really knocking it out. I know I've been on several bash fleets early last week as we first kicked off the first opening act of the war. I've been, obviously working through the week, so I haven't been able to do much fleets during the week here, but got my stuff moved, and we moved our staging, right, Dave?
Yes, today. Forward to the regional gate to Innsmother, which brings you. It's interesting you mentioned bash fleets as well, because we're not just doing main fleets for this. Most of the medium structures and such are actually ref by individuals and multi-boxers. I mean, I was out with my ults doing some, hence I mentioned the trying to move 17 ults, I injected 6 more. Yeah, and a lot of this is being cleaned up by multi-boxers, so we can leave main fleet to do the fun stuff, like the fort fights and stuff. Let's be honest, a multi-boxer with bombers, that's easy to stop, but Horde just don't have the organization. We've told, and it's well known that we've told our members, go forth and conquer, ref hostile medium structures, go nuts. There's probably structures that have died or been ref that we don't even know about. Yet Horde are doing nothing. If it was the other way around, they would be, ping spamming and herder. We're reffing all their stuff. The Imperium's weak. They're standing by and doing nothing, leaving their members out to dry. Herdy-dirty-dir. They move Brave to Delve where they can't defend themselves. But really, they're doing nothing.
I just, Dave, it looks like we've got some breaking news. Somebody said, check pings. We got breaking news. We'll let Dave look at that. And somebody mentioned they've got some weird, funny kills, like a malediction pointing your FNI. I will say from a just a mechanic standpoint, that malediction.
No, we do have breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The Imperium has started onlining a Fortizar on the entrance gate to the drone lands.
Oh, there it is. Dave, does that put us in range?
That
striking
puts
distance
us
of Horde's heart.
If we take that gate, that puts us in their space. That puts us in Ethereum reach.
There you go, boys. You heard it here, War. We are deploying on their doorstep. Go ahead, Dave.
Now, to put this in perspective, the drone lands has been touched before by SIGs and squads. We burnt down the Ethereum reach in the Spire, but that was when Horde lived in Gemini. Since then, the drone lands has never been touched because it doesn't have NPC space and it's very difficult to break into. But a Fortizar on the regional gate. Now, I'm going to bring up this picture that was pinged to GSF because, well, it was pinged to GSF, so woohoo, look at that. Let me just get this ready to show on the screen. Why is Discord sending me notifications when I've got stream over? Oh, well.
Discord's just messing with you today, Dave. Dave has all the technical difficulties, but yes, we have the fort across from the Keep Star. I am really, Dave is giving the dank leaks. We're getting the dank leaks from fresh from GSF.
Ladies and gentlemen,
command.
That is a Imperium Fortizar on grid with a Pandemic Horde Keep Star at the entrance in EFM, which is the entrance to the drone regions. Horde's home.
Make it bigger. Dave, can we make it bigger? Because some of us
I've been asked that several times. Yeah, there you go.
There we
this
go,
was just pinged to GSF, so it isn't any back channel dank leaks. It was pinged to all.
That is why. Yeah. So thank you, Dave. We are on their doorstep. I am really, so everybody, as you see this and you see this go out, and you heard it here first on INN that our fort is, we are within striking distance. Dave, does this put us, are we able to, and I'm not sure if this is on a regional gate, that kind of
thing. It is a very large regional gate. I'm bringing up the map now. Do we have
to go through the regional gate to drop through anything? Are we able to like jump through the other side, like, or do we have to cross that regional gate to like bridge fleets and that kind of thing?
Okay, so let's talk regional gate. So it is on this gate here. This is the universe map. That's okay. I'm not. Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna. I just read Chaos's thing. I'm not gonna write that, but that's funny. Okay. So it is on the gate for this leg here, so we cannot jump over this gap. As you can see, there is no real way to jump forward from Innsmother. So where Horde have positioned themselves is this system here. It's not wide enough. Give me a sec. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Horde have positioned themselves in this system here, which is...
I don't think we can see your mouse, Dave. Right? Draw lines on the map. Dave, we need to put this in MS Paint. This is going to be high-speed Meta Show tech right here. And we're going to start drawing lines on the map, everybody. I need someone to post the meme where it shows from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the one guy where he's got all the strings everywhere. That's what we need right now. It's just strings pointing to this is where we're going. The war plans. These are dank leaks right here. These are the war plans. Not really. Please don't.
Why does everything just get in my... Yep, boink, boink. That should work. Here we go. We're getting there, guys.
Hot pot. We 100% need a touchscreen. We need like a green screen behind us.
We do, exactly.
We can point back. Here's everything. You see these keep stars here. That's where it's happening. But... we're doing this on a budget. We have frugality. I don't know. Can we?
No, we can't. But hey ho, we're just gonna roll with this. Okay. So in the top left, you see GTEC Q. Everybody in GTEC Q in the top left. That is where they have put themselves essentially. I will click on it. It is this system here, circled in Ethereum Reach. Now, as you can see, this is Slice's home. This is the inner part of PanFam. Imagine walking into Dalv right now. That is where this is. And from there, you go to Kalevala, you can go to Malpez, Paragon Falls, all of the big name places. Our fort is on grid with the Keep Star in... Oh, it's showing my mouse now. In this system here. This means we are on their doorstep. As you can see, they still control all the Sov in this area. But we are like, fuck it, we ball Fortizar. Now,
exactly.
Keith, do you know what this means if that fort comes online?
It means we're going to try to cross the regional gate at some point. But hopefully it also means a dead Keep Star.
Exactly. That is probably... Now, I don't know any dank leaks other than this, because I'm on the show and I'm not in the command channel chatting. But generally, a Fortizar in that position on a Keepstar grid means one thing. Skynet. For those that don't know what Skynet is, you put your supers on that, send them fires. That Keepstar goes bye-bye.
And you know, Dave, what happened on Monday or Tuesday, the 27th? We just got a big buff to supers, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we did. And
Yes,
Titans. So this could be interesting. As I said, I don't know the future plans of this, but I've seen this movie before. Keith, you probably have. Viewers, the 295 people watching, have probably seen this movie before. And it normally ends up with one dead Keepstar. But that is all future plans. We still have a ways to go. I'm not going to gaslight you here, folks. There is a ways to go. We still have to take all this area. He'll gaslight you all day long, but we still have to take all this. Imperium is now staged in this system right here, which if we check that out, let's go to the jump range for the super capitals. Direct range on that Fortizar and half of the region. That is the other thing. Sorry, Keith. That is the other thing to mention. Thank you. Is it you, sir?
2,000.
Yes, there we go.
2,000.
They now have to gate their super fleet through a regional gate in range of probably the biggest super fleet in the history of this game. I don't know if any of you were playing or were in the Imperium during 2020 at New Year's, but Brave Sir Villy should know this one. That's not a fucking good idea. You're gonna die. So we will see how big a balls they have.
But, it really does. It really puts us in a position to control, choke this region off from them even really fighting for it. So what it really forces Horde to do, as I sit here and you can look at the writing on the wall, is the big fights, the big PvP is going to happen here when that fort comes out of anchor and starts repairing. That's where we'll probably see our first, I would say, big fight. I don't know. Horde's probably already got their caps and everything in that system, so that'll be if you have your caps ready for those of you in the Imperium. For those of you who are not, is there a name for this war yet? I don't know, Dave, but for those of you not in the Imperium, get ready to camp the system and that kind of thing. It'll be a couple. It'll be probably a whole day fight when that goes through. Hoping it does.
You say they could go through cash. Now the thing is, they could get into cash, yes, but so ideally for defending this region and defending that fort, killing that fort and defending that Keepstar, you want to be in jump range of it. They would have to go into Great Wildlands, really, to be able to do it. And even then, there's only 3 systems in Great Wildlands that can reach it. So,
yeah,
it's one of those.
Great Wildlands is
they can
Vietnam of this.
They
map.
can definitely mid around, but at the same time, we have direct range. You can mid all you like, but we have direct range.
I'm loving the, Dave, I'm glad you know the region well. I am terrible. I've gotten medals in game for getting lost and that kind of thing. And the sad part is I have FC'd, but I never know where I'm going. I need somebody to tell me where I'm going. So they have dropped 2 Keepstars in Great Wildlands, so that might be an option, Dave. You're saying. But I do know
they set up a route to go around.
Like Vietnam over there.
Yeah, they set up a route to go around, but at the same time, you kick off a Titan fight. All your corps start pinging Titans are engaged. This is how M2 happened, and then suddenly you have more Titans than you had originally, and then you've got to middle them around, which will be causing extreme tie-dye. You don't know what nodes are on the same node. So, for instance, during M2, 1DQ had no tie-dye. T5Z had shitloads because it was on the same node. So really, and you would need to do 2 mids from ER together. It's not as optimal. Whereas we get people coming home from work, we get people, logging in, and this is an exaggeration. People will call in sick to work. People will, divorce their dog.
Divorce the dog,
no. To be at that fight, and we can just pile people in.
If anybody here in chat, by the way, for our viewers, if you neglect your dog for EVE Online, we're gonna have to have a talk though. Dogs are, any animal is 10 out of 10 there. But yeah, no, definitely exciting news. It seems like we're really ramping up and putting Horde to the fire here to get them to come out and fight. Dave, do you suspect, your opinion, you think they're gonna come fight us?
No. I think Gobbins is going to look at this region and go, it's lost. Which is a shame, because there are PAM-FAM alliances, as you can see here, that live in this region. And if he did that, it's just hanging out to dry. He hasn't pulled them back. He didn't do what the Imperium did when World War B started and pulled the alliances back and made sure everybody got back. For instance, in it, we covered Fountain long enough for them to extract. Same with everybody else. He hasn't done that. He's just gone, everything is fine, everything is fine. It's like the meme of the pizza delivery guy walking in and the room's on fire. He's just sat there going, oh, well, we'll forward deploy the coalition to this place and leave our allies in the next region completely undefended. So if you're watching and you're in any of the alliances shown on this screen, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Our corps would love to recruit you. Because one thing goons do not do is leave their allies out to dry. We didn't do it with Brave. We never did it with Init. We don't even do it with Dracaris. Horde has a track record.
Yeah, I really wonder. I would love to, and Dave makes a good point, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the show and hear what your viewpoint is and hear the other side of the story. I know we're talking a lot. This is the INN, so we are taking this from the goons and the Imperium perspective, but I still would love to hear how you feel about your space being given up and your players, you're losing members, that kind of thing, for somebody else, for Big Daddy Horde.
And the big thing is, I would love to get the perspective from the other side on this show. We could have a chat, we could have a debate, but they all hide. We invited Headline on the show a few weeks ago, and the most he did is turned up last week, said that something was dead that wasn't, misspelt the thing that was dead that wasn't, and then disappeared before anybody could call his shit. There's been no mention at all that I know of.
The Keep Tar.
Exactly, Keep Tar. Can we get Keep Tar in chat? I'm going to get a meme made of that.
Yeah.
But there's been no mention at all from Horde, or to my knowledge any of the other alliances, about withdrawing. It's the same when Navy was attacked. Horde was like, no, you'll be fine, it's only Sigma. Then Sigma kicked their ass and Navy had to retreat. And, same with probes. And let's put it this way, if we enter Ethereum Reach, probes, yet again, as you can see, is in the firing line, but not Horde. Because they're cowards. If the Imperium got invaded by PAM-FAM right now, goons would be the first line.
Dave, I do have a question, and this is something we talked about with Brisk last week a little bit, and we touched on. Any signs, I believe I thought I heard something like Init declared war on Frat, or Frat is fighting Init. Any chance that Frat gets involved here and starts?
I don't think so.
Maybe helping.
I get a feeling, well, Frat are fighting Init, but I also get a feeling Norse may see this clusterfuck and go, you've made your bed. Because they have. They have sat in drones for the better part of over half a decade, acted like the god's gift to the earth, and sat there making Goblins stinking rich at the expense of his line members, leaving allies hung out to dry. They did it with Test. They do it all the time with member alliances and corps. You see goblins tell corps that they can leave peacefully and then shit on them the second they jump out. In pings. But they sit there and do nothing. I think Horde's time has come. It's time for Horde's teeth to be kicked in. They did it to us. We rebuilt. It's time for Horde to, be turfed out of nullsec back to lowsec. Not saying that's the war goal, but, it'd be funny if it happened. And they should have a taste of their own medicine. And I really think Norris should leave goblins hung out to dry.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we talked about in chat. I see a couple of yous. Dave talked about making ISK and that kind of thing. And here's the thing that kind of really strikes home for me is when we had Asher on for the State of the Union. Did he mention he talked about money, right? He talked about making ISK and that kind of thing in the finance department. But really, what struck home with me is that I don't care. We're going to make this happen. We're not going to wait for more.
Yeah.
And some things I've seen come from Gobbins was we're going to draw the line in the sand here. And oh, by the way, we're going to be able to crab around here too.
Well,
that was his response, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
His response.
Whereas the Goonswarm response is, how can we make this better for you guys? I mean, there's been several meetings where they're going lax on a few things. Shit. That I did that on the wrong browser. That Horde would never.
Yeah, I know. We talked about a few weeks ago. I think it was over a month ago at this point, where we had our Axe the Tax episode, where we talked on Gobbins' announcement, where it was taxing mining anoms and that kind of thing. And it just seems like their focus. I know Dave not using dark mode it triggers me too. I just let him do what he does. But Horde using it just seems like their focus is, well, we're all rich and happy. We're not going to actually do anything. I don't know. That's I guess to each their own play style and that kind of thing. It's just amazing that there's a whole alliance the size of Horde who just subscribes to that same message. And their response is, we're going to sit here and beat up on Brave and Delve. But if you compare the two fronts, and this is what I thought might happen, is that Horde gets really aggressive in Delve, and it's kind of the old RTS, mindset of we're going to base run and see who can kill each other's base faster. But they haven't. I haven't seen, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Horde hasn't started hitting Sov or infrastructure in Delve, have they?
They have, but it's been defended.
Got it. So they haven't been effective at it.
Not Sov. I mean, they've hit structures. I'm not going to gaslight. They've killed stuff. Brave is only a small alliance. Bro is essentially Horde main fleet. They're going to lose stuff. It's the fact of it. But Horde is an alliance, large alliance, one of the biggest in the game. They put up a defense of a Fortizar. Yes, that Fortizar repaired, but they lost the ISK war more than that Fortizar was worth. Is that Fortizar then worth it? Especially now we have a Keep Star on that grid. What was the point? Why defend a Scolding Pass Fortizar if you go, no, everything in Scolding Pass is fucked? But, yet again, the brain power of Villy.
Dave, and I think the thing you gotta and you look at too is there's Delve, and even if Horde does start getting more aggressive in Delve and really starts putting a hurt on Brave, this space that we're taking from Horde, and we've said it a few times, like renter space, right? This is where you're supposed to make more money from. Delve, to my knowledge, Brave's not renting anything. So the loss on what you're going to lose from a strategic standpoint and an ISK making ability, I think Horde's losing more than what we would stand to lose on the other side of the house.
Brave are losing stuff, but the idea, Horde will lose stuff quicker.
Yeah.
like, people have woken up in Goons. We filled 2 fleets in 30 seconds yesterday. We had in USTZ 4 fleets the other day. That has not happened in years. The Goons that people are fighting now is not the Goons where we can fill 1 fleet and maybe get a Jackdaw fleet. It's the Goons that when we want to, you're going to have 4 subcat fleets on your head, and then if Zintage is feeling froggy, oh no, hello super fleet. You know?
Yeah.
Brave
Yeah,
are doing...
and somebody...
Oh, gone.
I was just going to say in chat, somebody said they're in Brave, and it's at best on fire. Horde can outform them by 100. It's really crazy to me to think Horde's more interested in forming that large to go beat up Brave than they are to defend their own effing space.
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting here on their doorstep, and you know what? I'll reserve my, saber rattling and that kind of thing for... We'll see what Horde does in response to this fort that we just anchored on that grid. I am hoping that Horde comes and fights and brings a good fight. I will be there. I'm sure Dave will be there. I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be there. But definitely 100%. Like, it just is wild to think, like, you have this engagement with another group of comparable size that you can have great fights with, and your only interest is
beating up the little guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. An alliance that, even given the opportunity, stayed loyal to your failing coalition when you invaded Doubt. Stayed loyal to you after that, so they could rebuild when they could have easily turncoated and joined the Imperium. They were offered so many times. They were offered before that war, they were offered during that war, they were offered just after that war. They didn't. They stayed loyal. And then when they moved away to the other side of Eve, what did Horde do? Horde and Fraternity followed them. Why? Because they can never pick a fight with someone of equal size. They are literally like the schoolyard bully. On the note of Horde and Fraternity, I mean, I don't have this verbatim from Darkshines, but let's be honest. If they blued each other again, and, for instance, Horde got involved in the fight against Init, what do you think's going to happen, people? Do you think Darkshines is going to let them two blue each other and fight him alone? The man's crazy. He ain't stupid.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I would love to see another giant engagement that engulfs all of Eve and that kind of thing, because I revel in the chaos and I love the PvP element to it. So that would be super exciting. And another point is we've had what I think is really cool. We haven't had a lot. Like, there's been 180 build PanFam's died, 85 build of Imperium has gone down. But with the patch coming out, this new fort coming out, and we hinted at it a little bit, it sets the stage for a super fight. So I think this will be a really good litmus test, whatever you want to call it, of how is Legion holding up. And for our viewers, feel free to speak up. Like, we have the Barbaroga drop. I know that's been exciting, though I don't know if I would pay 14 bill for it right now. I've said when it gets down to probably that 5 or 6 bill mark, I'd be more willing to go out and get one and have one for, whatever it may be. But I'm going to tell you, everybody, we do need a super fight, 100%. I really hope that happens. Because with that Legion patch update, we're seeing supers get a lot more tanky. We saw, some fighter upgrades for our supers and carriers, that kind of thing. And we will sit here, and I'd love to see a brawl happen. And there's Barbarogas in a fleet fight, 100%. And I don't know if you know this, chat, and I'm not going to share the fit for this. It's not hard to figure out on your own, I'll tell you that. With links, full links, which I don't know why you would run one of these without links. Mid-grade amulets. You can get your Barbaroga in Bastion to up over 550,000 EHP. And, mind you, 4k DPS.
Those Barbarogas yesterday were Kumi, by the way.
Yeah. It takes too long. It does, Remaker. But if you're using them for the sake of bashing, I think they have fill a niche role. They are then become a pocket dread that has the sig of a subcap when you're armor tanking them. As long as they're not in Bastion, that's where the question
also
would be.
Think of this.
On each flap.
Think of this. But you're in a Titan fight. You're in a Titan fight. And rather than needing a wing of dreadnoughts to defend your Titans from dreadnoughts, you just have a load of them in your Titan fleet. And it doesn't matter if it takes a minute to spool it. Fuck that. Those dreads are going to die. Like,
Is it? So I don't remember exactly how long it takes to fully spool. I think it's an 8-second. When I was looking at it in Python, I actually have it pulled up right here. Let me look at the charge stats here. Let's look at the. Hold on, chat. We'll do some math here. I don't know anybody else who loves Python.
While you're mathing, I'm going to address some comments. So first of all, the first one was, goons don't drink the Kool-Aid anymore. We're there for the people, which I agree. I stay in goons for the people. I'm there because my friends are there. Keith joined because his friends are there. It took us, weeks of nagging and making fun of him for losing the 80 because he didn't practice. But he came. We don't need, and it's true, me going on is a far cry from Mittens or Brisk, but even Brisk said last week, talking to me and Keith, that's not what the show is anymore. It moves on. I like to do the facts and occasionally poke fun at shitty Horde FCs that just warp around on the grid. So, points if you guess who. So, yeah, Goons has changed, but I think we're in a better place. And the rather Scottish chap has it exactly right for the way we operate. With Brave, we let them handle their own thing, but if they need help, we come. Whereas Horde are letting their people handle their own things and not turning up. We have things in place to ensure that we can defend Brave if they need our help. They just have to ask. Do Horde? No.
Yeah.
They've just gone, hey, that region's gone. Anyway, you got the numbers?
Yeah, no. Yeah, so it's probably about 2 minutes, 3 minutes to get fully spooled. It's 2.5 seconds per cycle, and then it's about 61 cycles to get fully spooled. So you do the math, 2 times 6, just a quick rough, that's 120 seconds. It's like probably really honestly comes out with half seconds, probably 130, 140 seconds to get fully spooled. So it does take a minute to get up there. Somebody was talking about in a dread fight, does a Marauder win? It depends if it's cap or subcap fit. So, I mean, honestly, a Marauder could, hypothetically, if you unsieged and you spooled with a Barbaroga, I think you still get a cold up to 2K. I don't know why I'm saying
also, how far away from the Dread are you, and what guns does the Dread have? These are all very important questions.
It's a cap dread, and you just orbit it at 1,000, right? And it doesn't have any tackle mods. It will never be able to track you. And by the way, the Barbaroga on Bastion does 2k DPS.
Unless it's a Phoenix. Don't try that with a Phoenix. The Phoenix will kill you. But
probably.
Yeah. But any of the turreted ones, especially the Naglafar and the Revelation.
Moros.
The Moros, if it's got blasters, may hit you. But the Rev and the Nag, especially even with their short range guns, if you're within 1,000 and moving, they're not going to shoot you with anti-cap guns. Now, if they got high angle guns, you're going to die so quick. But
yes, a Hall Dread will screw you up. And I will say, 2k DPS, like somebody else said, you could run Vindies. Vindies are a lot cheaper. You're absolutely right. Definitely an option. But I mean, the other piece to it is most dreads, if they're active fit, are tanking your 2,000 DPS in a 1v1. The only situation is you're up against an anti-cap dread, like Dave said, like a Naglfar. You're orbiting at 1,000 because you got within range.
The stars have aligned and they don't have a friend.
And it's buffer tank. It's buffer tank. You could win the fight. We've seen crazier things happen.
But
I've seen a ratting rattlesnake one-shot an AT ship before. So
until that dread decloaks its rapier that has webs.
There you go.
But some more things from the chat real quick. Well, kind of from the chat. Something else that Goons is doing, you may have noticed for those that are in Goons and those that are paying attention the rest of Eve. The initial fleets for any of these fights are not fleet commanders. We have 3 levels of FC in Goons. We have skirmish commanders. They're your, I've just hopped in, I'm going to take a fleet, woo, people, Tactical commanders, they're the skirmish commanders that have brains that we get to do more strategic stuff. And FCs, which are people like me and Ark and all that who like to drop hammers. Boom. We're letting the tactical commanders kind of run the show on the initial fleets here. So a lot of these big name FCs, especially Villy the other day, initially got his ass kicked by someone that's not even a FC that's allowed to run battleships. It's a great learning experience.
I think there's plenty of skirmish commanders that have brains. It's just, I think
they're the ones that have
people.
graduated from skirmish commander to, yeah. I'm not saying skirmish commanders don't have brains. They're the ones that have shown that they have them.
Hey, listen,
backpedal.
I technically was a skirmish commander. I just have never taken out a fleet. I need Sonrier to teach me how to manage the admin side of it. I would love to know how to do that because that is where my heart and soul is.
Sonrier is the FC baby, the skirmish commander babysitter.
That's right. I need Sonrier. I need your help, please.
I love the skirmish commanders. Exactly.
You might see Keith Stone FCing a fleet someday in the future for this war. We'll see.
Yeah.
See me out there. Join my fleet if you see it up. If you see the ping.
If you're in Goons, get FCing. Now's a good time to learn. We're looking for people to promote. And, yeah, as I said, all you have to do is show you got a brain. So show you got brains. And we will promote you and guide you through. A lot of our current FCs started there.
Yeah, no, I love FCing, and this is a great opportunity to just get more into that and just go out 100%. Go out and do it and take out some fleets and whelp some things. Don't be afraid to take chances and experiment and lose some stuff. That's the time to do it, is as a skirmish commander. Dave, we're coming up. There's a couple things that I want to highlight real quick. And at the very first thing someone asked, very first question was, where is Brisk? And I know everybody loves Brisk. We love Brisk. He's awesome. We have asked Brisk. We might see next week Fountain Frank come back, right, Dave?
Maybe.
We might see a Fountain Frank episode segment next week. So please be sure to come back and check with us. We also do have coming up here on the show here in a couple weeks. We are still running our FC Roundtable. So unless there's breaking news or anything in the war, we do have another one of those shows planned where we're going to have some.
We may have them here for the breaking news.
Yeah, they'll probably be on. What we're going to try to do, though, for the viewers, that kind of thing, and I know I've talked to Dave about this, is as the war is going on, we're going to be dedicating our time and our focus on bringing you the news and the breaking news like we had today with the fort coming down. So be on the lookout for those war updates. You'll be guaranteed when we have in the show, we will have a war update and dedicate some time to that and then go on to our regular programming. So here in a couple of weeks, I believe it's on June 14th, there is a Reddit post about it from our good CSM friend, Young Puke, around another FC Roundtable with reactions to Legion. So as we've gotten a month into this and as the war has progressed, from you, the viewers, we'd love to hear your opinion on, hey, how does Legion impact you? Do you think it's a good change? Has it played out well? Be sure to message us and then also be engaged in the show. But Dave, I'll hand it off to you for any last closing remarks.
Yeah, so just some quick housekeeping. INN is recruiting. We're looking for streamers, Eve streamers, Twitch producers, and breaking news people. Especially with the war coming up, breaking news, all you need to do is get a character there, and put the stream up, and chat, and get some people on to chat about it. And yeah, we're looking for stream producers and any streamers. We just brought on a new Eve streamer, the Mad Rambo. Shout out to him. He's in chat, I believe. So hop on with that on our website. We are also looking for what you, the viewers, think about our programming. When I remember how to spell it.
Dave doesn't know how to spell. You heard it here. Actually,
check out that survey. Yeah, everybody knows that. Check out that survey. There's a requirement. You have to stream. You don't have to be in the Imperium. The Imperium News is an independent entity since Mitten's left. We're just harping on about Goon stuff today because PamFam haven't given us anything to harp on about. If they want to come on and harp on about something, they can come on and harp on about shit.
Yeah, if anybody's here who knows anybody in PanFam who wants to come on the show, let us know. We've been asking for months, Dave.
Yeah, months. But you know, brave Sir Gobbins keeps running away. So, I think that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for coming, folks. It's been a pleasure. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goonspeed, everybody.